Hello, everybody. My name is Casey Lambert, and I am the new Director of Marketing and Public Relations here at Dr. Wax Orthodontics. And I figure what better way to kick this off than getting to know a little bit about Dr. Wax herself and the orthodontics practice. So, Dr. Wax, thanks for sitting down for this interview. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
I'm Dr. Wax. I grew up in Linden, graduated from Linden High School, and started my practice out of residency after 11 years of going down the road to become an orthodontist. This is exactly where I wanted to be. I'm raising my family here in the Fenton area. I have 3 children, Oliver, Everly, and Ellis. I love coffee, and I'm obsessed with improvement in myself, in my organization. I always want to show up the best way I can. I encourage others to push themselves through the uncomfortable to get to something even better. I was so excited when you suggested this because we've recently celebrated a decade in the business of smiles. And a lot has happened in that time, right? From the growth that we've had, from all the families we've served, even joining up with an organization and then exiting that organization. So this is a great opportunity for us to talk and get a little bit deeper into what's going on and where we're headed.
Amazing. Let's get to the questions. All right. So, Dr. Wax, you recently repurchased your practice for private ownership. So here we are doing an awesome interview on that. And we want to get to know more about your practice, more about you, more about your commitment to the community. So really excited to sit down with you today. So first question, what inspired you to return to private practice?
So I've had a very unique journey in orthodontics and my professional career. And it started as a startup. I moved back home, opened a practice where I grew up to serve my community. Thought it was going to be a small boutique practice. That was the depth of my vision for private practice. But over the years, people really appreciated how we made them feel during their treatment. We take customer service and all of that very, very seriously. So we grew quickly because of that, right? We treated people different and they noticed and they liked it. And so we grew much quicker than I ever anticipated I could ever dream. And then I wanted to expand the positive impact that I had in the world of orthodontics and within Michigan. And so I partnered up with some other amazing practices around the state and around the country. So I have this unique perspective of both private practice and corporate dentistry. And what I noticed was when there are people involved making decisions for a business or an orthodontic practice that aren't in the practice. They don't know the people we treat. They don't know the people on our team. They don't know the community. The decisions are made with a different set of data points. And it was really crucial to me to get back to what makes this place special. And what makes this place special is that it was built literally brick by brick, cell by cell, from my body, from my heart, from my sweat and my energy and just everything. Everything here is an extension of me. And so some of that was slowly getting lost over the couple years that we were partnered. It was important to me to fight for what was right. And so that's what I did. And I can proudly say we are back to 100% private ownership under my leadership, and we're already starting to see the changes.
How do you think the return to private practice will directly impact your patient care here?
They're going to, and they already have, noticed the change immediately. There's an energy about this place. I describe it like this. When you walk in, you are slapped in the face with high energy and a whole lot of smiles. Like every person on our team is like that. We are made of a bunch of mostly women, but everybody, we're made from a group of people with big hearts and big work ethic. And so we're moving fast here. We're talking to everybody. It's noisy. You got the music going. There's laughs. My favorite thing to do is to sit back in my office and hear the laughs and the conversations going on in the hallway between my team and patients or between two team members. Like when I hear happiness here, it makes my heart just like flutter. And so that is the difference. We focus on things that are a priority to us because of how much we care and because we're part of this place and our patients' journeys. We're not removed in any way. We're intermeshed. There's no difference. Like where we end and our patients start and where the community starts, it's all intertwined. Like you can't really find that exact point. And I think that's the biggest difference. So what are our patients seeing already being in private practice and how that's changed their experience here? We immediately opened up an enormous amount of appointments during the times that patients were requesting the most, after school, Saturdays, right? So there's a lot of things to focus on in a business and in an orthodontic practice. There's a lot, right? But when you have a single core value that is at the center of every single decision, you make those decisions a little differently. The outcome is always centered on the thing that's most important. And here, under my leadership, that's the patient. And everything the patient experiences at every single point, they have to interact with our team.
What do you think makes the Dr. Wax orthodontics experience unique from other ones?
That's actually really simple to answer. We are obsessed with the patient experience and how they feel. So when we're looking at our schedule and figuring out the best way to structure that, we're thinking about what our patients have asked us. We're thinking about what our patients have communicated to us and requested and what they're desiring. That's how we build our schedule. When we think about what we say and how we say it to explain the orthodontic process or answer questions, we're thinking about it not from the perspective of me, but from the perspective of the patient, right? This is their first time going through this process. This is our, X thousands of time, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Otherwise, things can get lost. And ultimately, that affects the patient experience. And that is the single most important thing to Dr. Wax Orthodontics, is their experience.
Awesome. So why is it equally important to not only treat the smile on the surface, but the smile in the heart as well?
Oh, I love that question. I love that question. A smile is just a piece, and a very important piece that if you're not in the field of orthodontics, you might not necessarily think about. The smile is an outward reflection of what somebody's feeling inside. And it's an outward reflection of their self-confidence and their beliefs of what they can and cannot accomplish, what they do and do not deserve. And so the patients that emotionally impact me the most in this practice, every single one is important. Every single one of our patients are important to me. But some of the most emotional experiences I've had in this place are from adult women who tell me how they've never been comfortable showing their teeth. They've held back their smile. It's affected their work. It's affected their family. And to hear a mom tell me with tears in her eyes the day she gets her braces off that her son is seeing her smile for the first time, that's what this profession is about.
That's beautiful. A little choked up.
Yeah, I'm getting all
chills.
So
let's shift gears a little bit to your team.
Yep.
So how does your team create an environment around here where patients feel not only seen and heard, but celebrated.
Hmm. I honestly have the most impressive team here. I don't know what it is about this place. Maybe I do. Maybe I could make some assumptions or predictions, but um, it attracts hardworking individuals that really weren't handed anything in life, but made their own way. And so when you come from that sort of background, it's something, it creates a really powerful situation because we're all willing to work together and collaborate because we're all humble. We all want to be better. We've all seen the journey we've come from ourselves, and we've all been part of now a very, very unique and exciting journey together in the practice. So this team works harder than anybody I've ever seen, and that's the type of person I want to be around. That's the type of person I want to work with. And that's the exact type of person our patients deserve. Somebody who's going to go above and beyond for every type of individual. And we see a lot of different types of people, different backgrounds, different experience, different expectations, right? Different fears. And so we adapt quite easily to all of those different types of personalities. I mean, the parents, we have to collaborate with the parents and with the child, right? Very different perspectives, very different takes on their orthodontic treatment. And so we have to be able to mold like that. And my team, each person on my team has the best heart.
So let's shift gears a little bit because you are not only a doctor, not only a practice owner, but a mother as well. So as a mother of three, how has parenthood shaped the way that you care for your patients and families?
I better understand empathy. I could give a lot of instruction, a lot of tips on how to motivate your child to brush their teeth properly during treatment, or floss properly during treatment, or avoid the foods that could potentially cause harm to their orthodontic appliances, right? But after I had children, I understood the uh, the gap between information and ideal to like actual execution in a family. It is hectic as a parent, right? Like you mentioned, I have 3 children, and it is hard for me even to get my children to take care of their teeth properly. So I can better understand our parents in the practice. But I think the best example I have is this. We have told, just like lots of other orthodontic practices have told their patients, if something is pokey at home, or because I mean there's a lot going on there, right? So things can get irritating sometimes with these braces and whatnot. And there's different products that we have to help that during your treatment, like orthodontic wax. But we've told patients over the years to use like nail clippers to cut their wires, right? And so I'm at Walgreens one day, and a new patient who just got their braces on, actually both children just got their braces on. I'm seeing the mom at Walgreens, not expecting to run into anyone, right? But this is just what happens when you live and work where you grew up, right? It's all the same thing, right? There's no I'm working now and I'm not working at this point, right? It's you're always on duty and you love it. I mean, it's just what you are and who you are. So anyways, I'm in Walgreens, and this mom's like frantically running in with her children, and she sees me and she's like, I'm so glad you're here. We're going to the airport, and he's got a wire that's bothering him. I said, well, I'm here. I can help. So she's buying cuticle cutters or nail clippers, and I try to cut the wire. It does not cut. And so luckily, Dad was on his way to Home Depot to get wire cutters. And so they brought the wire cutters, and we were able to clip it with the wire cutters. So now I know I do not recommend nail clippers. I recommend wire cutters. So we probably should have those on sale here, but or as part of an orthodontic toolkit, wire cutters are the best thing to cut wires at home if that's something you need to do.
And you learned that all in a Walgreens parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the community and your expansion. You grew up in Linden. What does it mean for you to serve the very community that helped cultivate you as a person?
You know that it's a really interesting thing to go back to work after being gone 11 years for your schooling, right? Back to the town you grew up in and where you graduated high school, right? And you spent so many days and hours and time in. Because I no longer knew this community, right? And I didn't know I was going to come back here until I completed my education, and I had to think about where am I going to work? And with a lot of thought, a lot of research, a lot of exploring what's important to me in that process of figuring out where I wanted to work, there was not a single place I wanted to be more than home. And so I opened up my practice across the street in a tiny little space until I was able to, do what we've done here in this building. But here's the coolest part about working where I grew up. I treat the family, the kids of the people that taught me in school.
Wow.
I serve as a board member on the Fenton Linden Chamber of Commerce with people that were my leaders back when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a brand new perspective. I get to create whole new relationships with people I once knew, and now I know even better. I have friends that I graduated high school with, now bringing me their children. That's a pretty special thing.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, Linden is home and heart. Why was it also important for you to expand into Flushing and also into Highland?
Really great question. So we were finding that it was very common for patients to be driving an hour plus to come see us. They were passing all these other offices to come see us because we did things differently. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our patients were driving from north of Linden. And so we thought it would be beneficial to our patients to go where they are, to better serve more of their friends and family, right? And bring the very unique qualities that we have as an orthodontic practice to other communities, because we feel like everybody should be treated the way we treat people. So our second office was planned to be Flushing. Okay, because like I said, we have a lot of patients already coming from that area and even north of Flushing. So we thought that would be a very good location for us to be in. But also I have a friend that lives in Flushing, and there was an opportunity to buy a building, an old bank, right across the street from her physical therapy practice. And I thought that would be so fun to work across the street from an long-time friend. And have a bank. Like, how cool, it has so much history. And that bank had a lot of community events in the basement. It has an event center, which totally matched what's important to us, right? We don't want to be an island in a downtown. We want to be part of everything going on. And so Flushing made perfect sense to us. And after we bought the building and we were in the planning phase to turn the bank into an orthodontic practice, an orthodontist from Highland, Michigan had reached out to me because he wanted to retire. And he had heard great things about me and how everybody at Dr. Wax Orthodontics treated our patients. And so he wanted to entrust what he had built with us. And so that's how we acquired the Highland location.
Perfect. That's great. Is that Jamie, right? The physical therapist?
Amber Schlemmer.
That's her name.
Amber
Okay.
Schlemmer.
Yep, I remember.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Melissa works at that office too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So how do you know Melissa?
Networking now.
Got it. Yep.
That's also how I know Amber. So.
Got it.
Yeah. So as soon as you said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
So we played AAU basketball together.
Yep.
Way back when.
Yeah. All right. So let's kind of motion back to the team.
Okay.
You often talk about building the best team in the industry. What does that look like actually in action?
So when you're when your time is mostly filled with seeing patients, creating beautiful smiles, right? A lot goes into that. You have to be very intentional. If you want your team to be knowledgeable in all aspects of orthodontics, but also in topics that help them grow professionally and personally in life, you have to be very intentional to deliver on that. So we strategize and schedule time to discuss the important topics. So we meet a lot. It's a lot of communication, right? It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of planning. And we're constantly thinking about how can we be better? What can I teach? I'm naturally a teacher at heart. The only other career I considered was being a third grade teacher. So it's kind of cool that I do get to teach so much in my practice to my team and to my patients.
Right. So when you are bringing somebody new on the team, what are some of the traits and the characteristics that you look for?
Honesty. So we talk about things that probably aren't typical in an interview, right? Because you are going to be exposed to everything here. You're going to understand why we do things the way we do, what my view on life is, and the importance of treating people, or how we treat people. So I am going to be completely honest with each and every person in this practice, and that's important to receive that back. So we're really talking about things that get at your heart and my heart, and your values as a person, right? So we're looking for somebody who has a big heart, who's genuinely kind, who's honest and humble, but yet can roll up their sleeves and do hard work.
How do you and your team continue to grow and improve your care and service for your patients?
We're constantly educating ourselves. We're going to conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences to share what we do here, right? So we're constantly collaborating with other orthodontists, other practices to make sure we're always at the top of our game.
Good answer.
Okay.
So kind of moving on, shifting gears here to your accessibility, right? You talked previously about how important that is. So why is it that you offer evening hours and Saturday hours when so many other practices don't?
I grew up in a home of a single mother and lots of children. We didn't have extra money laying around. And so, but teeth were always something that I was conscious about, that I noticed and cared about. And I had pretty horrible teeth, or I should say crowded teeth and a horrible smile, right? And so I begged my mom for years and years and years to get me orthodontic treatment. And she was a working mom, right? So her time was limited, the finances were limited. And if she didn't find an orthodontist that could work with her in those ways, I would have never received orthodontic care. And I would probably not be an orthodontist today for many reasons. And so, starting my practice, I didn't have anybody showing me the way. There was no one in my family who had done this before or been in this field before. So all I knew was what I grew up with, right? And so there were certain things that were top priority when opening up a practice that were probably unique to me in that way, right? Flexible hours were very important. I was a startup, so I had all the time in the world, right? So whenever a family wanted to come in, I was there. I lived 5 minutes from the practice. We would make it work. And so we naturally saw when people wanted to schedule, and that's when we were open. Same thing with Saturdays. People are busy, and that's something I understand even more as a mom of 3 now. People are busy. And so we need to have availability when they have availability for orthodontic appointments. I don't want this to be stressful. I want to fit into your life as best as we can. So we're intentional about that. Our hours being, one of the ways we do that. The other thing that was top of mind when opening up my practice is making it affordable. It was not about the money for me. Going into orthodontics was not about the money. It was about changing people's lives in the same way my life was changed. And so having flexible financing was very important to me. So we have done some would probably say is crazy financing terms, right? We extend it beyond treatment time. We make it affordable. So you tell us what you need, we will bend to that.
It's incredible. So being that you've made it so your schedules are flexible, you've made it so things are financially flexible and affordable for families, what would be your message to busy moms or working parents who think that they don't have the right budget or the amount of time it takes for orthodontic care for their children?
Mhm. I think I would tell them the same thing I tell our team. If we can't help them, no one else can. If we can't help them, they will never, I mean, there's a good chance they will never receive the care that they need because no one is more flexible than we are when it comes to financing.
Given that your practice is so flexible in not only affordability,
Mhm.
but also in terms of time, what would be your message to busy families or working adults who say that they might not be able to afford or don't have the time for orthodontic care for their families?
What I want them to know is give us a chance to overcome the obstacle that you're having to receive the treatment you need or want or your child needs or wants. If you tell us what's getting in the way, there's a really good chance we have a solution to that. This is not a one shoe fits all or a one brace fits all. We will tailor treatment. We will tailor your appointment frequency and when we need to see you to what will work for you. We are flexible. We're here for you.
Like it. Good. All right, last section. Last section. This is the stuff that you like to talk about a
Okay.
lot, vision for the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about your future vision now that you've returned to private practice, now that the ball is rolling full steam down the hill. Let's talk about the future for Dr. Wax. What are your hopes for the next chapter for Dr. Wax Orthodontics?
I've seen a lot over the years, right? From private practice to corporate back to private practice. I have been able to identify every little hole, everything that's not functioning perfectly or ideally, right? Every piece of, uh, I don't know, everything that could potentially cause a patient stress,
Mm.
right? And my vision is to just keep filling those holes, keep stepping up in every way we can, right? Listening to our patients even closer than we ever have before. What do you want? What do you need? How can we make this easier for you?
Hmm.
That's really where, that's the direction we're going.
That's a great vision. Great vision. So this might be hard to envision, but where do you see your practice in 5 to 10 years? Not just from a size perspective, but from an actual impact. Where do you see that in 5 to 10 years?
I think even considering all the things we've done, everything we've invested in the community, I think there's so much more good to be done. So my eyes are wide open to opportunities to make this world a better place, a single smile at a time in our very small towns that we serve.
Yes. Killer answer. Um, okay, just a couple more. So, being that you were cut and cultivated in this community, that it's where you chose to raise your own family, to have your own practice,
Mhm.
to grow so many young minds, what is the legacy that you want to leave on this community?
The legacy I want to leave is that there is no one and nothing in the way between you and where you want to go other than you. Everybody has the ability to have the life that they want. Yet we hold ourselves back because we think we can't, or maybe we think we're not good enough, or we're worried about what other people might think. So, the legacy I want to leave through sharing my own journey, where I've come from, where I am, and where I know I'm going, is to inspire other people not to hold themselves back.
I love that. Can't, never could until you tried. So get out
Yeah.
there and try, my friends. Don't take the easy way out. All right, so last question.
Okay.
If you could reach through the screens of your future patients, right through their smartphones, through their TVs, through their tablets, and just tell them one single thing before they walked in the doors, what would that be?
It's that we're here to create a smile that you love so much that you want to show it off to the world. Because one smile from you could change one other person's life, who could change another person's life, and so on.
All right, that wraps it up. Thank you, Dr. Wax, for sitting down and talking a little bit about yourself and your practice. We look forward to seeing what the future holds.
Thank you so much.